Welcome to Cracklin' Rosie True Crime, where we continue to deep dive into the Son of Sam timeline. Michael Carr and Scientology. When did they enter the scene? Before we dive in head first, let's summarize where older brother John Carr enters the scene. According to Maury Terry's notes, as presented in Sons of Sam, A Descent into Darkness, upon noticing the reference to John Wheaties in the Jimmy Breslin letter, Maury Terry opened the phone book and found the listing. I learned that the John Wheaties, rapist and suffocator, alias of the killer in the Breslin letter, was not really an alias at all, but it was the name of a real person. That person was John Carr, who was the real-life son of Sam Carr. John Carr's nickname was Wheaties, and I learned this within a day of the arrest. From the Reporter Dispatch, October 12, 1979. The latest investigation has taken detectives from the sidewalks of the Bronx, where at least one key figure in the original case has been interviewed anew, to the foothills of North Dakota, where local and New York City authorities have questioned friends of the late John Carr. Carr's father, Sam, was a neighbor of Berkowitz, who later called Sam Carr the master who ordered him to kill. Sam Carr lives with his family in a private home on Warburton Avenue in Yonkers, behind the 35 Pine Street building in which Berkowitz resided during the .44 caliber killing spree. Some of the results of the investigation and some of the questions being asked have been made available to these reporters by sources. The key questions the police are focusing on are: was John Carr an accomplice in the Son of Sam killings? Was John Carr involved with David Berkowitz and others in occult activities? Did John Carr commit suicide as originally believed, or was he murdered by other conspirators because of his knowledge of the Son of Sam killings? Shortly after the arrest in 1977, Maury Terry had suspicions of the involvement of John Carr, and by mid to late 1979, he was being probed as an accomplice by law enforcement. Michael Carr, the other quote-unquote son of Sam, was not mentioned in any of the public SOS letters, nor did he appear in any of Berkowitz's apartment journals. So when did investigative eyes move in his direction? Let's jump forward in the timeline for a moment. From The Ultimate Evil, prison sources who knew Berkowitz told Maury Terry that Berkowitz had been introduced to the cult by John Carr's brother, Michael Carr, in the 70s. According to Maury Terry, Michael Carr ended up inviting Berkowitz to attend what he called a floating coven party, and Berkowitz came in and attended the party, and symbolically, not literally, but symbolically, the .44 was put into his hand that night. That's how he got into the cult scene. In the weeks following the arrest of David Berkowitz, Michael Carr appeared sparingly in the news on behalf of the Carr family, not as any type of a suspect, but just on behalf of the family. October 4th, 1979, at age 27, Michael Carr is killed in a fatal car crash on Manhattan's West Side Highway. By October 1979, Michael Carr was a person of interest in the new police probe. I'd like to preface this segment of the video by stating I am not accusing nor am I exonerating anyone with relation to this case. I'm simply asking the question, when did Michael and Scientology enter the scene? From The Ultimate Evil. Shortly after Michael's death, Berkowitz sent a letter to a California preacher explaining that he belonged to a secret sect mixed with satanic practices and whose pretensions were bloodthirsty. Those people will stop at nothing, including murder. Please note that I have been unable to locate the aforementioned letter, and I'm also going on the assumption that the California preacher noted is Don Dickerman, currently located out of Texas, but at the time served with Norwalk Southern Baptist in California. Excerpt from the alleged letter. I really don't know how to begin this letter, but at one time I was a member of an occult group, being sworn to secrecy or face death. I cannot reveal the name of the group, nor do I wish to. This group contained a mixture of satanic practices, which included the teachings of Aleister Crowley and Eliphas Levi. It was, still is, totally blood-oriented, and I'm certain you know just what I mean. The Coven's doctrines are a blend of ancient Druidism, the teachings of the Secret Order of the Golden Dawn, black magic, and a host of other unlawful, obnoxious practices. As I said, I have no interest in revealing the Coven, especially because I have almost met sudden death on several occasions, once by half an inch, and several others have already perished under mysterious circumstances. These people will stop at nothing, including murder. They have no fear of man-made laws or the Ten Commandments. To break away completely is impossible because of a pact each new member signs in his own blood. Also, each new and carefully screened recruit supplies a picture or pictures of all of his or her family members plus their addresses. These items are used, if necessary, as tools for blackmail, coercion, and eventually physical harm should one attempt to betray the group. Enter attorney Harry Lipsig. Dubbed the King of Torts and known for his high-dollar client list. He and Maury hooked up early on in this case. As a matter of fact, Maury was on his team for the deposition which happened in '82. He represented Robert Violante from the start on a lawsuit which was thrown out in Yonkers, but then they picked up the civil suit against Berkowitz's estate. In 1982, Sal Lupo jumped on. For more detailed information, check out the Lipsig link in Follow the Money Lawsuits. From the Executive Intelligence Review, August 14, 1987, Volume 14. Excerpt. Court Admissible Interviews with Berkowitz by Terry Felix Gilroy of the Staten Island Legal Aid Society and New York quote-unquote tort lawyer Harry Lipsig, indicating that Berkowitz's lower controllers included Michael and John Wheat Carr, sons of Sam. Lipsig, an official with the Anti-Defamation League of B'nai B'rith, was at the time seeking information about Berkowitz's connections with Scientologist Michael Carr that would allow suing Scientology for damages on behalf of survivors of the victims.
The case of David Berkowitz inspired a Son of Sam law, which states no criminal can benefit monetarily from his crimes. Berkowitz agreed all book and movie money should be turned over to a victims fund. But the movie deal fell through, and the estimated $20 million in compensation never materialized.
The whole fund involved is about $110,000.
$110,000? Is that even enough to cover the attorneys? With the high-dollar civil suits, was there a vested interest to tie Scientology to this case? You decide.